Hi everybody, this is Michael here. Welcome in. In this video, I want to go over this business credit builder that will essentially automate everything for you, bring it up, and show you how to build your business credit on repeat. This literally will show you the best vendor credit, fleet credit, service credit, retail credit, and much more. Now, I want to get into why it's important for something like this to help you get access to credit lines, loans, and many more, even improve your personal credit in certain ways you wouldn't have even imagined. But before I do that, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm a business loan broker expert who's been able to help a lot of businesses start their business way before getting a loan, way before getting any kind of business funding, revolving credit lines, personal and or business credit cards. What's most important is the foundation, as well as working with non-startups of all different services, business financing, as well as real estate financing. I have a background in also digital marketing. I have a digital marketing agency, lead generation business, affiliate marketing ones. These are ones that I built over many years ago that have been working on repeat. I go back there from time to time just to iterate and move a few things. But this is my primary focus, and I've funded these businesses, and I know what it comes with when you're just getting started or you've been in it for some time. So I have some things on my screen here. I have a document that I put together that I want to go through, just detailing these points on this business credit builder. But what you should know is that this is going to help you build this business credit profile. If it's not established, or you have a little bit, maybe you have been set up with Dun & Bradstreet and the other business credit bureaus, you need credit monitoring, you're unsure about if you apply to this vendor credit, how much will you get in return, what will be reporting. And that's why this business credit builder that'll work for you on necessarily automatic, I don't want to always use the word automated, but it works in sense of where you don't have to go figure out for yourself which vendor program, which suppliers, which people do I need to go purchase from, which companies. This will be updated a lot, so it will be working for you. All you need to know is which ones to apply with, which ones to make purchases from, and then it'll show you what it'll reflect and why it's best for you to go through those. So I have a few things here on my document you guys can't see here. I put it in a Google Doc, but I want to do this. I want to start off by saying that you can build it through your EIN rather than using your social security number. I know for a lot of you out there who are looking for these no-doc loans, how do I do this without using my personal credit? When you're applying for business loans, whether that's an FDIC bank, online, offline, or any of the types of funding solutions kind of outside of collateral, a lot of it they'll request that personal credit score. Why? Because we're looking at morality, characteristics reasons, and we're looking at how much strong credit history do you have, your payment history. What do you have? Anything derogatory, charge-offs, late payments, repos, bankruptcies, foreclosures? Do you have any of this stuff? And it can make a drastic difference when you're getting approved or getting approved for very little. But what this business credit builder is essentially doing for you is helping you understand, okay, once I have this, which I do, I can go in there and see from a list of different vendors and providers, and you're moving up different tiers. So you might start off with the first tier and you're applying to like a Granger, a Uline, and you're getting all of this credit and it's being reported to those business credit bureaus that they appropriately report to, and then you're building up to another level, and then maybe you get retail credit. Maybe you're allowed to do something with Amazon, the Walmarts, or something else, fleet credit for gas cards, and many more. So I quickly want to go through this, and then I'm going to go to the questions if anybody has anything. But what I will do myself with my team is we will help you set up your business. So if you're unsure about which entity and how to file, where to file, who to file with, and how to monitor your credit, because that is actually the most important part of this. It's not just saying I'm going to file, I want this to report. If you don't keep track of what is and what is not reporting, that is a difference when you go and apply for those higher tier loans like the SBA loans, and you don't even know what kind of paydex score, you don't even know what has been reporting. Is there anything that maybe there's a timeshare issue, maybe there's subpar business credit, FICO, SPSS scores. This is some stuff that we determine on our end, but this is stuff you want to keep track of, and making sure you're a fundable client. That at the end of the day is the primary thing, is making sure you have the right time in business. Do you have the credit profile personally and in business, not just personal? Do you have the right amount of revenue? If you don't, maybe you have to start off with vendor credit to begin with, and that's where a lot of people do start. to then getting access to more, because that's an entrance point. You get the products and tools and supplies, and then you can add that to your business. You get new clientele. Just imagine that. You get new products and services you wouldn't have thought, but it can open up a new clientele. Now you can go service them better, more energy and time effective. They're referring you to other people. Now your revenue is starting to increase, whether you took on many more people or not. You focus on one service, and then now you're getting that revenue pumping in. If it hadn't been, if you're just a startup, you could be a non-startup doing this, and now you're getting access to those revenue-based products. Not solely is it collateralized. You have to use your home equity. You have to use a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan. You're not just relying on 401k, IRA rollover accounts and stocks or any other kind of collateral. Instead, it's unsecured financing. So I'll help you set up your business. I have an appropriate way of doing it, and without getting into the business address, being listed in the directories, the 411, the business phone number, where to go get your business phone number, because that does change. Certain guidelines and policies and things like that change with certain providers. And if you work in a specific business, it may be better for you to start with, like, I'm not going to start naming all of them because there's a lot that I've been associated with and ones that I like eliminated. So I started with a few, and then I went to this one, and then I went to that one. But understanding which one is in your best interest and what kind of number you'll have with that. And there's more that's included: a professional business email address, the right entity, are you a sole proprietor, LLC, etc. So you're going to set up and activate your current profile. So these are things with getting commercial credit, understanding how to get set up with your Dun & Bradstreet, your numbers associated, getting your EIN, making sure everything is focused within like the articles of incorporation, state of incorporation, and all the legalities that come with it. That's another part. And that's another topic that I can go even deeper on. I'm not going to get into the whole LLC family owner and all this stuff with it. That's something that I can help you with in time. And then the third part is where it becomes more entertaining or more hands-on, I like to say. This is where you're getting the trade credit. And I'm going to jump into this in just a moment, but this is how it's going to initially help you build your business credit profile. And this is going to be what's reporting to those business communities, or what do you call I just lost the word, you can call it communities, or the credit bureaus. I don't know how I lost that. I haven't done that in a long time. But this is where it'll be reporting and what kind of accounts you're building, that 30s and that 45s and that 60s and the 90s, etc. And it just depends, again, where you go to, and you'll have a step-by-step process like I have had with my businesses, and you understand this is where I need to initiate and this is where I need to move into. And then you're going to get your business credit, and it can happen without a personal guarantee. And that's the most important part to a lot of you, is not putting in a personal guarantee. And if you're looking for ways of that, there is that through business vendor credit, trade credit. There's a few other ways. Business credit cards. I'm not going to start naming those cards where there is no PG, and I'm not going to get into what does it take to qualify, although I know all of that, but it's per case base and on what you have and what you bring and what kind of relationship you have with that organization, what have you used. There's so many different variables, but I wouldn't know until actually understanding your circumstances. So let me go into some of the types of credit that myself and my internal team full of experts are allowing you to get. So one of those I mentioned already, it's vendor credit. And these report to the major business credit bureaus. I won't go into depth on which ones for which company. That's for another time again. And this is stuff that I can show you once you're inside. Number two, then you have retail credit. This is huge. This is one that I have family and friends on a lot. And they had always asked me questions on, I need to make purchases with an Amazon, or I need to make a purchase with this other retail store, but I don't have access to the funds. What can I do to get started? And the obvious answer to that is building up this vendor credit profile first, or if you're allowed to move right into retail credit, if that's at the tier you're at, because your business is already established and you have a few other things that are revolving, that'll be very helpful. So retail credit, many national retailers and stores. Then you have the fleet credit for fuel and auto repairs, and you have a primary vehicle, a fleet of vehicles. I work with a lot of people who have these, and they're focused on either the trucking, construction, or different industries, the courier business. The list can go on and on. Any kind of vehicle, any equipment that you have, and you need to get those gas cards, those fleet cards, any of that you have more employees under, and you want to give them the card so they can go out there and fuel, and so much more. Now, there is also service credit, like graphic design services and many more. I have quite a few that I just have in my head and I've used myself for my digital marketing agency. I won't get into all of them, like Creative Solutions and many others. You even have auto dealers or auto focused car enthusiast type of situations. I won't get into those ones as well, but there's auto shops and so forth. Then you have the business credit, which includes Visa and MasterCard accounts you can use in most locations nationwide and worldwide as well. And then there's vehicle financing to purchase and lease your vehicle with the fleet of vehicles, or that being in your business name. And there are many ways of doing that and so forth. So I'll leave more information in that down below where you can understand more. There's also credit monitoring if you guys are interested in any of that. I won't go into all the specifics on this, but lower costs. You can quickly get it set up, and it's all linked to your EIN and so forth. I won't go into those components. There's quite a bit there that I put on this document. And then you can quickly build your business credit in 4 steps, which we go through the fundability part of this. And this is where we're calculating, okay, what do you have already? What's your existing profile like? What do you have on your time in business? What kind of credit person are you? What kind of revenue maybe you have in the business? There are a lot of fundability factors when I get into this. There are more than necessary, but we will go through those if we have to, just to make sure there are little ways of getting you the necessary funding, the necessary credit, and so forth. We'll go through the business credit reports, get initial business credit, and then get revolving credit through things like business credit cards. So we're going to help you understand all of this, the underwriting requirements, and many more. I'm not going to go through the setups. I just listed some of that, but just as a quick rundown, what I put here, you have things like business name fundability check with the NICS codes, if those of you are concerned on how to decide the right, not only domain name, doing business as name, the full name entity, and so forth. There's the business address credibility checks that we will do as well, making sure that's listed correctly. And I have multiple ones on that. Business phone fundability, website and email. These are things that I do as well as in my digital marketing agency, where I've helped out businesses. And I've been in that for a long time with numerous different amounts. And I've built out the business marketing plans. I help people strategize better, how to build their own personal and business brand. And that's something that I did over many years before I got into this space. So that's more of an automated sequence now that I have going on. But yeah, I know my stuff in and out when it comes to those components and many more. And business bank account setup and assistance and so forth. And I'll leave more information of this down below in the description. You can even watch a demo, a review done by on the inside of this business credit builder if you guys are interested in any of that. So now I'm going to go into a separate topic before I go into the comments. If anybody has anything, I want to close up on this PPP idle loan alternatives. Perhaps that's what you're here for, to hear more about. And then we'll close up. Replay should be up on YouTube. If you guys want to go back or start it from scratch, feel free to view and go through what I mentioned. And down below in the description, I'll leave information for you guys to get started. If you do need help with your personal credit as well, I'm doing a lot of that. People who have a need for repair, or it's just a boost and an increase. They have concerns over things that are showing up on the report that shouldn't be. How do they go after it in this circumstance? I do a lot of that as an entrepreneur, business owner. Believe me, guys, I know the psychology, one, because I'm not only in the space, but two, I've gotten funded for my businesses. So who else would you want to learn from than just the marketing head? Who's just the person in the front of the company just out there verbalizing and showing? I'm actually the person who has to go out there and market for himself for a lot of reasons. And I actually view documentation. I know how to analyze, evaluate. I do a lot of SBA loans every single week, whether they get funding or not. And they're going through the process as other revenue based. So let's focus on a little bit of that, and we'll go into PPP idle alternatives. Actually, we'll do that right now. So I like to have a reverse engineer mind. I'm a very system math guy, and going to school myself academically, putting myself through chemical engineering as well as business administration is eventually where I went into because of the market. I made that transition. But the way I look at things are the very top, you have the SBA loans. And I'm not talking about all the subsets right now, like the micro loan, the 8A Advantage program, the 704, the 7A 504, but I do all of these. If you guys question that, I have those done. And so there are different requirements, qualifications for each and every one of these, depending on your position, your time in business, your credit, your fundability details, your business credit. That's why having that vendor credit at the bottom is most important. But without going into the specifics, I know if you guys have questions on SBA, feel free to ask them and I will answer them accordingly. I know this stuff, guys. I don't have to go check in with lenders and underwriters. I don't have to be that glorified referral partner on YouTube who sends a link in the description. Hey, just sign up and go. The experts will deal with you. I actually work with my internal team. I actually review documentation. I get the right feedback from the underwriters that those underwriters wouldn't feel comfortable sharing with somebody else because they're just a partner. I'm an actual business loan broker. And I actually understand all of what they give me. And I go, okay, this is what I can and can't share with the client. They trust me very, very well. I'm a very loyal person and I'm very cerebral. So I'm very intuitive when it comes to these things and how I think them through. As a Libra, if that says anything, if you're a Libra, you know, you know. But the thing is, up at the top, you have the SBA. Underneath that ladder, let's call it a funding ladder, or you can call it a value ladder in a different sense if you're in your business coming up with more products or have them and you want to service people with those, and there's different entrance points. Now, underneath that, you have more of the FDIC banks, you have the online, you have the offline banks. And so what you need to know about these is they have higher requirements. Right now, they're trying to lower their debt capital. And there's different terminology and words for this. And I go into different banks. I have different banking relationships. My primary one being Chase that I've been with for a long time. So they know me when I walk in and they know that relationship that I have with them. They know I'm very punctual and disciplined. I'm not one to have my energy and time wasted. And I give them the best. I'm never mean. I'm never bad. I'm a very nice person. But these are things that I've worked on as an entrepreneur, business owner, and I hope you guys take that to heart. That character is most important than just reputation. Character is important. That's everything. That's the bottleneck of it all. But over here, so you have those online bank term loans, you have those traditional bank term loans, even the lines of credit. But the question is, can you get approved for those? Not just do I have a 660 credit or 680. Now those types of banks, those even high banks, those top banks, like the Chases of the world and more, those are looking for stronger credit, stronger revenue. They want to work with those profiles that are doing somewhere around 1 million or 1.4, even more, 4.4 million and above. And those types of corporations and even higher. They may look at something underneath that depending on certain circumstances, but it's harder to get approved for. So that's why people turn to these online bank loans, these FDIC insured as well, but they want to make sure that it could be faster. Could be more streamlined. It's not as intensive in the underwriting. So there's a little bit more flexibility there in getting approved, but you do have to have stronger credit, like 660, 680 and above. Usually 700 is best. And a minimum revenue requirement around 250,000, 2+ years time in business, personal and business credit established. I won't get into all of these details. There's a lot more, how to go through the application process. I have all that stuff down, guys. But just be serious. I don't want nobody in here, well, I want funding or I want this. And then I have people who come the next day or next week and go, they say the same thing. I'm like, we're not at that point of our communication anymore. You knew what you needed to do, but you're coming back. You're meeting me here. We're meeting here. You're meeting me back here. We're supposed to be there. So there's certain people who do need to get it together, and I'll get into that in a moment. I'm not saying that to be rude at all. I'm not like that. This is just some tough love. But underneath those products, you have the fintech companies now. This is where we're going to get into the alternative private lending world, where you have collateral based. Let's begin there before we go into any other lines of credit with fintech companies. So you have the collateral solutions, and this is asset backed, which is another word. You have inventory, you have commercial real estate and or developable land. That's something that can be used. What kind of equity, what kind of value do you have on that? What are you currently paying? Do you own it outright? Is it fully paid off? What is the actual appraisal? We're looking at all these things, and I fund these all the time. But people are unaware of these things. Why? Because they're just seeing the brand. They're just seeing another ad on this company that spent $1 billion a year just to advertise. That's not the correct way. And just saying, I'm going to go and apply and see what happens. That's not the best approach ever. And I have the best lenders and underwriters. So you may have heard of them out there, and I work with them. And there's a better benefit and more flexibility, maximum approvals, maximum odds of getting approved, better terms and rates and so forth. So it's just not going about directly all the time. It's about going indirectly. And I have those direct lenders anyways. So I can have a whole pool of them and I know where to go pull from. And I go, hey, we're going to protect your credit, but I want lender A here. You're a lender B client. Let me go to lender B with these three in your industry and I'm going to pull from them. I really wanted to entice this one. So they saw me pulling this one. Boom, this one's coming in. And usually I beat most offers that are out there. And I'm very transparent myself. I'm not a talker. I'm an introvert. So guys, I won't sell you, period. I talk slow, but I'm just trying to get through this video as quick as I can so it's not too long, but I speak very slow, which is good. You guys want somebody who can do that, not spews and goes, That's not a sign of being bad. That's just I don't want to depend on that. And so the thing is, there's those products. You have the collateral, inventory, unpaid invoices, commercial real estate and or developable land. There's quite a few more stocks, public stocks. We can go into financial guarantee bonds, mutual accounts, marginal accounts. I can go on and on about this subject forever. But then you have revenue-based underneath that. Now, you can look at that and say it's not necessarily a line of credit, but they're emphasizing in this market now higher revenue, around 400 to 500,000 with higher credit for those A-tier lenders to approve you. But revenue-based pretty much means a lump sum without collateral. Now we don't have to supply any collateral to get the funding, and that's what I normally recommend. There's the higher, like you said, like I showed you, I said, so the SBA, and then you have underneath that the bank loans. And yes, these come with higher terms and lower rates. The SBA up to 10 years, up to 25 years amortized with real estate, the right real estate, up to 10 years for other purposes as well. And then you have the online, offline banks where they can offer between 2 to 5, even 7 years, in some cases a little bit more, but not always that. So you see 2, 3, or 5 years, sometimes 7 years with your choice. But it's a lot less. The repayment could be a little bit higher, but everybody's in a different situation. Can you get approved for this? Can you not get approved for Can you not get approved for that? There are different circumstances, and I'll help work that out for you. Don't worry. I'll help work out the crinkles or the wrinkles. But yeah, I see these every day. And so underneath that, like I said, you have the revenue-based, and this is on bank statements. We may have to ask for a personal tax return or a business tax return, depending on how much funding you're looking for, just to verify income. Usually on the business tax return is what we ask for because it's on the business. But it's, for the most part, 3 months of bank statements or 4 months, depending on the state. A copy of your driver's license and a voided check. We may ask for that up front. Other lenders are like, hey, we'll ask for that at closing. Your copy of your driver's license, a voided check, etc. It's very minimal, like 4 to 5 pieces of documents and not 3 to 4. It's very fast like that. But just keep in mind, when you're doing fast funding, that doesn't translate into better terms. That's more medium to higher rates. And these are based off of factor rates between 1.19 to about 1.69. And I'll go to the comments, guys, in just a moment. So please stick with me. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I do value you, just so you know, as a person and in business. Again, I'm not a salesperson. That's all I want to say here. I even despise using the word sales in a very wrong way. A lot of people use it. If it's used in the right way, that's another thing. But I just don't come from that background. Please, I don't do these things to deserve bad things at all. I know there's a lot of people in this industry you guys can't trust. Believe me, there are a lot you guys can't trust. There's a lot of people I don't trust. And they haven't earned it. And rightfully so. I see through their BS very well because I'm a very observant person. Very observant. And so from these services, yes, more medium to higher rates. Hello, how are you doing? And so welcome in. And so what I see from these, it's that 1.19, sometimes even less, to get the deal done if it made sense and you're a very high A-tier client, but it normally doesn't work that way, to about 1.55 or 1.69. So let's say you get 30,000, you're paying back 42,000. So what is your rate? We're not going to get into all the specific numbers. There's more I work out on my end, but maybe you got a 1.23, maybe you got a 1.45. So we add that multiplier, and it's not amortized as normal interest, guys. It's not an actual business loan. It's not a traditional business loan. So the APRs, if you calculate it that way, which I've done, I've taken these out before. So I know how you guys think very well. You don't have to be punctual and disciplined like I am with my finances, but I know how you guys think about all of this. And so I was doing the numbers myself, and I'm a very math-minded person, so I really want to break things down. So if I were to get this interest and I was already paying this is what I want it to look like in a year, so I'm not accumulating more money. So I go, okay, well, if I'm paying back this isn't amortized over 40%, is it? And it is, okay, but it isn't really an APR. This is a factor rate, or total payback is what you're getting. It's very simple to understand. And a lot of people like to complicate it with APRs that go into the 40s, the 90s, but that's not really what this is. When you get to 12 to 24 months, these even blend in. These hybrid advances, cash advances, traditional merchant cash advances, which I work with less these days, and those are based more on credit card statements than they are on all total revenue. You want all total revenue coming into the business. It's much better to work with, and they're much faster to receive. Just use this for better Don't use it for bad debt, guys. For those of you, well, I heard about those cash advances. I know some of you in here thinking that. And use this for growth and expansion. Use it for benefiting, not the repayment being up above it, the repayment being below it, even miles away from it, or just a little bit of yardage. Just making sure that the use of these funds are being used to double, triple, quadruple your money. And then you wouldn't worry about taking this or having to take out another advance because you were not prepared or something with an unforeseen circumstance. It happens. It's happened to me in the past some time ago where it was an unseen circumstance and I had to use more of my own personal funding to fund a specific project. And then I was going under a little bit. But then quickly something changed in the market. I found something I can capitalize on. I added an additional amount of revenue on top of that. That's how entrepreneurs think. That's how they go and they work on these things. But not going in and saying, hey, I got one advance, now I need a second position, now I need a third position. Or hey, I have one position, now I need a line of credit, but I defaulted in here. And if you defaulted in this industry, there's nobody who is willing to help unless there's one or two that I have very good connections with who will come back to me, and not for everybody else. They'll say, hey, Michael, we'll give them $9,000, but they're going to pay a lot over just 3 months. I need them to pay back $18,000, $17,000, $16,000, whatever it is. Can you pay that money back? We don't know. We don't want to know if you're building or growing your business. I want to know if you can make that payment back. If we trust you enough to make timely payments, we can give you more the next time around. So none of this whole, I defaulted 10 years ago, 20, that still reflects whether it's on your file or not, easily seen. I have people that come to me all the time and I go, there's somebody that may be able to partner, maybe able to work with you, but it's very seldom. And so if you already defaulted on advances, whether it's a past default judgment in place that you've cleared up or whatever it is, it's hard and you're now looking for a line of credit. You have lower credit on top of that. You have defaulted. You're looking for a line of credit that doesn't even exist. How about looking at the business credit cards? We'll get into that in a moment. So revenue-based, lump sum, that's what we're focused on. At that point, I can go into that subject forever. I'll leave more information down below. I'll get in the comments in just a moment. Good question. I'll get to you in just a second. But in the bio, I'll say this right away. I don't want to have you guys like waiting too long. But in the bio, link click. I'm not always in my DMs on TikTok. I have a huge following here. It's not about the followership. It's about the impact for me. It's not about the likes, none about any of that. For me, it's about value. So you guys can also go to viralfundingsolutions.com and that'll be my site. Go through there. There'll be an apply now button, but it's really a questionnaire at the navigation. viralfundingsolutions.com. Hit the apply now button in the navigation. You guys have the best through me. Believe me, you guys can look through my site, whatever you guys want to do. I don't have nothing to hide. Search my name up on Google. I could care less if you do. Search it up. I have nothing to hide. I'm not from that background of shady, scammy. Screw those people. Those people are on a wrong route. Those people are just taking advantage of people. It is very sickening. And those are the people you don't want to work with. And so back to this topic, we'll close up here in a second. I'll go to some of the comments that I missed. So revenue-based underneath that, now you have personal funding. You're using your personal funding, your personal credit profile. Like a lot of these, you're using your personal credit, FICO score, FICO 8s, FICO 9s, etc. to get approved for funding. But with this one, it's on the personal side, like a personal term loan, installment loan. You have personal lines of credit. You also have personal credit cards or business credit cards. We can do a combination of all these. I do these every day. Yesterday, I spoke with a sweet lady, and she happened to pick up the call while she was at work in retail. And I go, I'll have this underneath 30 seconds or underneath a minute. And I cleared it up, and we went forward from there. But I was thinking after all that was done, why would she even pick up the phone on her time at work? It wasn't even a break. Or was it? But I'm like, I wouldn't do that. Like, even if I didn't, even as much as not recognizing the number, I myself, that's just speaking for myself, I wouldn't have picked up the call because I'm a very punctual, I'm a very orderly energy and time. I go into a business, I've actually helped businesses. I've worked for many, construction, manufacturing. My dad, we're in a manufacturing family. I work with the owner's kid. I know all this stuff. And I didn't just work financial blueprints crap. I worked on the actual floor. I actually had to work the machine. I was a headerman for a little bit of time, pulling out the tooling from it. In my younger 20s. Did I have to do that? No. But unforeseen circumstances after college, after playing Division I soccer, etc., those were the best times when I look back and I go, there was never a regret because those were learning experiences for a moment like this and for all that I've been doing in my businesses. And so I'll get to the comments in a second. Let's focus on these last 2 or 3 and then we'll go in about less than 3 minutes. So personal funding, elaborated on that. Those report timely payments to the personal credit bureaus. On the personal side, just understand that you're not over leveraged, that if you're in a position where you're a startup or you're not a startup, but you're already drowning with other debt and your debt to income is just too high, we won't give you that much for one. But then two, we're predicting also based upon your history, how much of a recurring payment, if you're already making payments to other things, this will occur again, and how high of a payment. If this is an introductory period, what would happen thereafter? If you're going to add this on top of that, what would then your payments be? So we're not going to over leverage you, but if you're in a position where you're going to have to declare bankruptcy and you think declaring bankruptcy is your best option and then coming back and that remains on your reports for 7 to 10 years, whether it's been past the time and others can fund you or not, that's besides the point, especially when you're looking at credit-based financing. Then that's the whole premise of this, working on your EIN, establishing your business vendor credit, trade lines, etc., etc. So you have that side of the equation. We can add business credit cards. This is where we come into the 0% business credit card stacking program, and I want to get into business credit really quickly on top of what I said earlier. Vendor credit, revolving credit lines. And this is the personal and business credit. So differentiating the two, business vendor credit, personal credit here, you have revolving credit lines. With credit lines like the hybrid you can use and liquidate the cash out of these cards. I have these myself. The Chase Ink cards, I have multiples of those. The American Expresses. Other ones like the Capital One Spark cards. I'm not going to get into all of them. There's so many of them. I made a video if you guys want to know about fair credit business credit cards, good credit business credit cards, and I have a step-by-step system to help you guys add multiple business credit cards. I actually have the whole document that I've helped people with, and I actually navigated you a little bit on that video, but I didn't show you because it is very confidential. That's stuff where I have client information, where I've jotted down notes based on their details, and I've helped them myself with my internal team. So moving those two along, underneath that, this is the whole startup phase. We're already at the startup phase with personal and business credit. But just before startup, well, you have personal/startup loans, you have 401k IRA financing, let's just say that, home equity line of credit, home equity loans, you have the IRA, 401k, as I mentioned, you have the financial guarantee. There's so many of them that I can get into, guys. The SBA microloan, the SBA Community Advantage, the SBA 7A if you qualify for that. There are plenty more, equipment financing. There's so many, many more. But some of those may not even work. Angel investors, venture capitalists, private hedge funds. I can go on and on about that. And I'll show you guys these things if you can or can't get them. But underneath the startup, and we'll close up here, it's the formation of your business. As I said at the beginning of this video, we're coming full circle. Making sure you have your business name, you're doing business as name, making sure you have your business email address. You just don't want to have an @Gmail. I did that for a little bit. I had an @Gmail. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but if you can get away from that as quickly as possible, especially if you have these LLCs, S Corp, C Corps, however you have it, info at your name, your first name at this, however you have it set up, do that. Please do that, because when we go apply for business, 20% battery, I will get going here in a second. I'm gonna go to the comments. But you're going to ask for your personal and business information, your entity. You're going to verify this information, state of articles and corporation, making sure that everything is listed correctly. You have your business address, business phone number, even the phone number. Guys, I've applied to things in the past where I didn't have my business phone number and it really dinged me, but I didn't go directly to my Chase. I went to somewhere else. So there's that advantage. And that's why I did it that way. Because I knew how Chase would look at things, and if I tried it over here, I tried those things. I've been there. I'm guilty of some of those. But it wasn't necessarily bad. It's just, it was a learning lesson. I remember very quickly here. Actually, I'll go into I don't want to sidetrack too much, but the documents, the business plan, having the certification of proof of this, all these little minute details go into all of that. So that's a topic for another time. Strategizing, market product fit, all of these things I help people with. But I remember when I was in a lot of your guys' position many, many years ago, this was a little troublesome for me, but I didn't file quarterly tax returns. And so that's all I need to say. If some of you know, you know. I'm not going to say the amount, but the IRS penalty and the quarterly filings then for the next year had to add, and then the end of the year deductions, and I was like, okay, I can make the payments, all this, but I was giving, Uncle Sam and giving the people the money that I could have been using for something else to give the charity even more. But that was a learning lesson some time ago, and I knew it. It's just with a specific business, I wasn't sure if this was going to be the amount I was making at the end of that quarter, like a lot of us think. So I found myself in that position. I don't feel guilty for that. I actually felt like I did it correctly, because at that time, I didn't have enough cash reserves with one of my businesses, so I wasn't sure about how to file or should I file. My younger brother got himself into that situation too. He's a real estate agent now, but he found that out too, how much he had to pay at the end. And I'm okay with that because I can. And it's not because I can, does it make him any better? No, I should still be hard on myself, like many of you should. So now let me go to the comments and I'll close up here in a second. I got a lot to scroll up through, so give me 1 second. Is that a camel? Because I said slow. Thank you for the follow, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for the hearts and the likes. I've seen those. If you do find value from this, if you have, feel free to share it with others. I don't say that, or I don't even say it enough. It's not my focus. It's not like the thing on the back of my mind, which is good. So now let me move up here 1 second. There's a lot. Looking to apply for a 504 loan. There's a more community focused, commercial, heavy equipment. What would be the funds used for? That's my question first. But the 80K gross income is a bit of a concern, although it's based on other things like cash flow, historical tax returns, how much time in business do you have, net. Understood. Thank you for clarifying. Your credit is strong though, but the SBA, they look at all three. They look at the credit, cash flow, collateral. So cash flow may be the dinging part. And it's set up differently when you're looking at a 504 loan. So until I have more documentation or more information on that, at least at the surface level, I'll know and I'll have a better decision. That's why people fill out my questionnaire. And like I said earlier, that's where I recommend to start. viralfundingsolutions.com, bio here, link click. Also send me an email. You can. My first name, Michael, M-I-C-H-A as in Adam, E as in Edwin, L, at viral, something going viral, fundingsolutions.com. Feel free to do that. Again, it's Michael at viralfundingsolutions.com. I had meetings with lenders earlier today, just so you guys know, I'm on top of the market. We're changing a few things on a few services, but I'm always in these, whether it's an email or it's a quick Zoom call with a few lenders and underwriters on a specific topic. I need to get in there and I needed them to tell me something, so I show up. I don't have to necessarily speak, but just put something in the comments because they know I'm working. They know me. They know my patterns. They know my routine. Like, I've even shared that with them, and I go, not that I'm ignoring any of you in this Zoom call, but I'm working. Like, not a lot of you get to have the fortune to hire 20,000 people for your company to, them do it for you. Some people have to actually do it for themselves. And I can hire as many people as I want, but for what I'm doing right now, and it's been working extremely well, this is why I have it this way. Maybe in the future, my family, they know what I'm doing. My younger brother, even that, with his real estate side, maybe as not exactly a business loan broker like me, but I'm going to end up helping more people out and giving more people jobs. And not that I like the word job, but a lot of people are deserving of helping others in a specific capacity, if that makes sense. But we were doing a lot of things with like real estate stuff today. I don't want to get into what we were talking about too much, but we went into specifically today, like on new construction loans. I'm doing a lot of those. But with fix and flips and new construction loans, I don't want to say too much, but just know that those two aren't necessarily correlated. They're not in the same field, always on the same parallel. You can say it to some degree on what you're building there and the internal structures. But if you're doing fix and flips, but you have no experience building up ground up homes, etc., then that experience doesn't help. Now, you may have had a lot of years, or you're maybe in a different vertical, and there's something that correlates like to a little point, to a little degree, then we may be able to look at it. But there are a lot of circumstances and different services and ways to go about it. And again, guys, I don't mean to reiterate this, but I'm not like the talking piece of a company. I actually do the work. Earlier this morning, I was reviewing documentation, heavy. And like I said, I am Crescino in the bio. You can also go to my site, go to the part where it says apply, but it's really a questionnaire. If it's real estate related, you'll see one next to it. In the homepage down below, after how it works, there should be a button and you can get started there as well. I don't know what this person is saying. I won't even say what this said. If you see it or if you saw it. He invited me to his house. No, I did not. Or I'm unsure about because I see that next comment. Yeah, and you will hear back from me. Excuse me. Here, again, I'm a very punctual, disciplined person. I fact check things. So certain people, they tell me something and I fact check it. I'm like, what? They maybe forgot, or you didn't forget. You just felt like, oh, I got to come up with something. I hope he doesn't check it. So like lenders, everything in underwriting, we check these things. And if I'm not punctual and disciplined about what I do, why would I be doing this? So as being a nice person as I am, like I said in the beginning, I'm very meticulous about these things. I look at them, I revise them. There's people in my Facebook chat right now who I told them to do what they needed to do and they haven't even done it. People who just called me like last night or 2 nights ago at 7, 8 o'clock on my personal time. Sometimes I pick up if I know the person enough already and in their business as well. And I'll have a quick less than a minute conversation. Hey, I have a less than a minute. Can we make this quick, please? Yes, okay. Hey, I got 30 seconds left. What do you have going on? Good, okay, great. So these are things I keep track of. And I go, well, why hasn't that person submitted what I asked them to? I get it. I know the psychology. Well, I don't want to submit paperwork. I don't want to submit this first because I don't want to be getting an email. You're going to be getting education value from me. Feel free to unsubscribe if you want to. And if you unsubscribe, that shows me you're not the right person. I have people who do, well, are you sending me, well, as I said before, if you didn't see that other email or what else I revealed, the reason why I do it this way, and people just don't get that through their head. They think this is just a transaction. No, this is long term. I'm helping you guys with a lot more than just business. Did you? What area? Does anybody have any questions before I close up here? I'm not understanding about the garage door part, guys, so I'm not familiar with that. So I'll leave it open for about another minute. If nobody has anything, then we will get going. But again, guys, you guys can go to viralfundingsolutions.com, gather more information from there, more intel. I have different services. I service all states, in Canada as well, Puerto Rico, kind of classified as one of them, but not exactly. So those are the things that I can do. Real estate, business funding, personal credit, business credit solutions. If you guys need help with lead generation strategies and stuff like that, but even more on a different time, affiliate marketing in different capacities and so forth. Got it. Thank you. So let's do 30 more seconds. I'm telling you, those people who tune into these things, like grasp it, you maybe need to hear it 4 to 5, 7 times again. That's okay. It happens. It's what we need as human nature to make a decision then. But for those of you who don't show up and expect the world out of anything, and there's been people in my email, like recently there was a person in there who was way out of line. This person even showed up at one of my Zoom. I did a StreamYard, and it was nasty from their part. Like, there's nasty people in this industry. Not only on my end, and I'm not one of them, but there's as in like the business owners. So I'm trying to do my best, but the number one thing that's uncontrollable at the end of the day, it's the person, not me. It's the person I'm trying to help on the other end. And it's evident time and time again what it is. It's the character. The character is what keeps getting in the way, and that's where I want to end it in the next 30 seconds. Let's just do that. It's the character of the person that ends up getting in the way of themselves, not even me and my team, but yourself. And if you're not that person, great. If I work with you and I know that's not you, okay. But It's the person. You're still just trying to build your business, or you've been in it for so long, but you've neglected these other areas, your health, your relationships. It's more than just wealth, guys. These are things that I do every day. I meditate every day. I stretch every day. I drink my water that I need to. Today it's 1:13. At about 3:30, I'm going to go see my tax guy later. I got to go talk to him about a few things. And then before that, I'm going to go out on a walk. I'm going to go jog. I'm going to go take care of my breathing. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to communicate better now that I feel better. These are little things that add up over time. And when I come to you and I need real estate funding, John, I need real estate funding, Sally. I need $500,000, Sally. Can it get me in less than a week? Based off of these details, yes, I'll have the documents ready. No questions asked. I'll get you those 1 to 3 business bank statements. You got it. We might ask for more later. Okay. Now I come back to you. I need a tax document. Oh, wait a minute. That's going to take me 2 years. With me, I say, hey, I have it. Here. It's already in my file. Here's the 1 year tax returns. Please get it done for me. See how simple that is? That's the difference. That right there is the difference. It's the character of the person. It's this. See, for somebody who doesn't talk a lot, who has done that a lot in this video, when I go away from here, I'm not talking a lot as an introvert. And so I don't have to tell you I'm going to do it. I just do it. No, pero estas, and I mean para estas, I mean like some of these people just, man, they make my life a living. And it's not good. It's not good at all. And they wonder why I didn't help them immediately. Well, you tried to help me and I was trying to do this. Well, that's not my problem. I am not guilty of this. This is you, business owner. This isn't me. So you guys have to understand that and where I'm coming from as well. I understand where you guys are coming from to that degree, but put yourself in my shoes too. How do you have any kind of experience? Is it none? I would start with the real estate fix and hold. Multifamily, it's harder to get into if you have no experience, and it's vertical, even horizontal if there's somebody else is helping you with that. Fix and flips are a great entrance point, but we have to have all details, and I'm not going to get into all of the things we're looking for. It could be more scrutinizing if you're a complete beginner, not to say that it wouldn't ever close. I'm not getting into the documentation. There's different ones. What we would need, agreements on this and that, but just know that I can help with this. Not only, depending on what you have, like licenses, depending on your business structure, there's a lot more questions that I would need to have answered. And that's why the questionnaire is helpful for me to know. So there will be a field also in the describe your request, but there's also a real estate form. So if you have a property lined up or you want to refinance something, maybe you're getting a refinance and then put this underneath somebody else's ownership. There's those circumstances where they're making payments on the mortgage, but it's a lot lower. You don't have to put down a down payment. There's a lot of different ways for this and different angles, but I will have the real estate form for you. Put it in the describe your request field. There's other situations like I have, and I have to get back to a few people. If you're in here watching, I'll get back to you on the having a not primary residence, but having a home that they're renting that they want to put underneath their business. And yeah, they can do that. There's a few different codes though, and a few ways to structure that. But it's like any other business. You would need to have an LLC under, have the associations with that on how they want to build it with their EIN. It's no different when you're putting it on a building. A lot of the times it can be, depending on what we're talking about, but it's no different because if they're using that as a business, we want to have the legal parts correct. We want to make sure everything is done. And those are the steps that I can help you guys with. Got it. Yeah, and I can see if you have a property lined up, I need to know like the address, the location. Right now, location is everything, guys. One of those like Michigan, not one that I would turn to for bankruptcy, and there's a lot of other locations, but location is everything right now, more than it's ever been. It's crazy how many files I declined that I'm like, yeah, the property value on this and the appraisal, loan to cost. and so much more on the amount that we can get you funded. Looks good until we see the location, and it's in a good area, but there's so many of these other factors, and I can go into that a lot, but I won't do that right now. Does anybody have any questions before I get going? Again, guys, I don't want to be that person to say, hey, I don't fool around. I don't even feel comfortable saying that, because that's not my character. If you know me as a person, you will know who I really am. And I'm not hiding anything at all. I'm just saying, I don't want to have to tell you guys to be punctual and disciplined. This is no different than when you're going into a bank. I work with all the lenders. I work with the banking institutions. They know my character. They know who I am. They know what I bring to the table with my businesses. I'm not going to be there to just chatter about and just, well, I want this, I want that demand. And after they've explained it to me, see, that's not who I am. You don't have to tell me twice. In fact, I don't have to tell you what I'm going to do. I'll go and do it. Period. And I'm going to do it right. I'm going to sit down and actually do my research. I'm going to actually be there studious, like the academic student that I am. And you don't have to be an academic to have that in your arsenal. You just got to work on those. Good question. What is the topic of discussion today? So earlier in this, I spoke about business credit through vendor credit and having a business credit builder that's done for you, where it shows you where you can go apply to what vendors, what trade lines you can start getting and reporting, fleet credit, store credit, and a lot more. So there's a process to that that's most important when you're establishing business credit. And then I went into the pillars of the top funding products to the very bottom. And there's a lot of those in between. There's more of them. And I went too long. Like I said, I wanted to keep this short, probably nearing an hour or so. Here, I think my battery percentage is much lower, so I want to put this in. Hold it up since I don't have my holder on the back of this. Does anybody have any questions? We'll do 30 more seconds. Let's do 15 more seconds. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. I don't believe so, that I missed. But if I did, I do apologize, guys. The grant route would be the way to go for that. Get in touch with me. If you haven't filled out the questionnaire, please do so. Let me know about your business. I can match you with one that would be better than others. And I can show you a list of them on what I would do as well. But I just need to know more information on that. The amount you're looking for, but I'm not going to spend time on this now. We're nearing the end. So let's do 10 more seconds, guys. I'm not resetting the clock on this one. Oh, I did a live today on the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to go see this employee retention credit that's retiring, well, yeah, soon. But it's expiring, and if you guys are interested in it, I would go view that video. I recently uploaded it to the channel, and I went live. It was spontaneous, so I didn't have a lot of people. I didn't broadcast it or anything like that. So I made a video on it detailing where you'll go through and how to get started with that. But you can get up to $26,000 per employee in a refundable payroll tax credit. That's where I would focus. Good question. Bio link click or go to viralfundingsolutions.com. You can also email me and I'll send it over. My first name, M-I-C-H-A as in Adam, E as in Edwin, L at viralfundingsolutions with an S at the end, .com. And just say, hey, this is this person from TikTok. Can I please get the questionnaire? Or without even saying that last part, I'll send the questionnaire over because I have a process to do this, guys. Don't think that just because now you're in my culture, it's always going to be a call. I'm not that prototypical. the word is. My brother made fun of me yesterday for saying prototypical. Is it prototypical or typical? I like to use the word prototypical because there's those prototypes that they create out there where there's those people who are just always knocking on the phones, always knocking on the doors. I'm not like that at all. Like I said, I'm very savvy about what I do. I've learned this through a lot of experience. And so I have my systems, my processes, my automations, and a lot of people love it. Once you realize how I transmit information over to you, you might at first be feeling a little overwhelmed with some of these emails that I send, but then you'll look at it and go, you know why he did it. He doesn't have to explain it to me. And if you're a true business owner, an entrepreneur, you would know without even asking me. So that's why I don't get on calls. I have people who call me and I'm like, then I have them fill out my questionnaire. I go, that's not a call that I would want to be on because of certain reasons. And I go, they're already being outlandish. They're already acting like this. I don't want to be in that position. Even if they're just fighting tooth and nail for survival, that's even another position that makes things more difficult. And even if it's a business owner generating millions upon millions a month, that doesn't mean it's going to be automatically a phone call. I have people who do that, who come back to me 4 months later, who I'm like, where were they? Now you want my help? Or now you want my attention, don't you? And you want me to call you? Okay, how about we do it this way? Send me an email. Here, I'll send you this questionnaire. How about you resubmit that questionnaire? Okay, after seeing that, I know you won't qualify for that. So that call wouldn't be necessary. That call, you're just going to be giving me more information on things that don't even matter as much as you think. And I'm going to go, this is the way we need to look at it. Boom, out of there in less than 2 minutes, out of there in less than 30 seconds, out of there in less than a minute if it needed more time. But I'm not going to be on and on and on. You know that song that goes on and on and on? For those of you who do that, it's time. And I won't do anything wrong for you guys at all. It's just, got to understand that my time is very valuable. And I don't want to use the word sensitive, but I'm very sensitive to the time and energy that I devote. Right now, being here, I'm away from my LinkedIn. I have to be on LinkedIn about 30 minutes ago doing some things, catching up with a few people. Interested parties who I was communicating with them days ago. So this is how it revolves. And I care about them as a person. I got to know them as a person as much as I needed to. I didn't need to get in there and are you going through a marriage crisis? No. Grabbing a sandwich, eating a lunch when they felt like giving me a call, or I was able to give them a call if that was necessary. It was an email. They were at the Starbucks just getting their mocha latte, frappuccino, grande, whatever the heck those sizes are. And I get ridiculed for not naming it correctly from ladies and my lady partner and so forth. I'm like, is it grande? Is it venti? Is it small? Why do they say chico? Why do they call it medium? Large, extra large? Why couldn't they just go by those names? They got to use all these fancy lingos. I know like where it kind of originates from, but just use the word small. Can I get a medium, large? And then they go to the line and they go, can I get a with no ice and with extra coffee? I don't even do any coffee to begin with, but once in a while we drop in for one of those caramel frappuccinos. I'll go out of my way to have one, but I don't do that entirely. This is a whole different topic, but if you know, you know. All right, guys, no more questions, comments, or anything. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, I usually use that word, but we're not on YouTube now. If you are watching, you are later on. But please follow for more information on business funding here as well as everywhere else. Be open-minded, allow for feedback, and be patient. Those are the three things that I have. I've learned patience over many years. Instant gratification, delay that. Get that out. Get that out of your mind. And just know that I have your best interest at heart, and I'll be there every step of the way to help you. But be serious. That's the pivotal point. I don't want to know this. Like right now, I see all these leads here from submitting their application for, let's say, the employee retention credit. This is just one thing. And these are people that I've helped them personally as well as in business. Others just go through it in a business matter, but they just do half of it. They just half ASS it. And I have compassion for these people because you get busy, but at the same time, that's not an excuse. When you're going to get to it, you get to it. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. I don't want no excuses. I don't want none of this coming back to me. We're starting at point A again. You were here already. Just say you're not interested or say you don't want to do it instead of coming back 3, 4, 5 times to that, because I won't do that again. I did it 2 to 3, 4, 5 times, even more. I respected that boundary. Now you're not respecting my energy and time. And that's a position where I have to make a calculated decision in a nice way. And I won't vocalize it always like that. You are most welcome. Appreciate you guys. Share this content with others who you feel will find value out of it. It can be a complete friend. a friend, a complete stranger, a family member, or anybody else, but you know they got value from it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you all in the next one. Hasta la vista.